There is a difference between an HR professional who does HR and an HR professional who drives business outcomes. Most organizations have plenty of the first. Almost none have enough to the second. The question is, which one are you? And more importantly, which one do you want to become? Actually, uh, there is a important thing to discuss. Today, we are going to deep on what it actually means to operate as a strategic HR business partner. Not in a theory, not in a textbook, but it is a real world example with real stakeholders in the operations that do not always make it easy. By the end of this video, you will have a clear picture of what strategic HR looks like in practice, what strategic actually means. Let us start by dismantling the myth. Strategic HR is not about using bigger words in meetings. It is not about having a seat in the table for its sake. Strategic HR means you understand the business well enough and deal with the issues and cases in a correct manner. And you have the data and the relationships to act on them. A transactional HR professional waits for a vacancy and fills it, and a strategic HR professional looks at the business plan, identifies where the skill gaps will emerge in next 12 months or so, and starts building the pipeline now based on his presumptions. A transactional HR professional runs a performance review process. A strategical HR person uses performance data to identify the flight risks, succession gaps, and high potentials who are underutilized before they resign. The difference is orientation. Transactional HR faces inward HR processes, strategic HR faces outward toward business outcomes. Audit your first 3 months of work. Write down how much time you spent on processes versus business conversations. This ratio will tell you everything. So let us build the case. The second thing that separates strategic HR professionals is their ability to speak in numbers to business actually cares about. Your CFO doesn't care about your engagement score. They will care that 5 point gap in the engagement in the sales function correlates with 12% increase in the voluntary turnover. And that each sales representative who leaves costs roughly 150% of their salary to replace. When you walk in with the conversation, you are not talking about HR. You are talking about the revenue problem with a people solution. This is strategic. And it is the incident which changes the room. Suddenly, you are not defending on a HR budget, you are presenting a business investment. This requires you to connect with people, data, and speak the language, the function you are partnering with. Finance speaks in costs and risk. Sales speaks in pipeline conversation. Operations speaks in output and efficiency. Learn their language. It is the fastest way to gain credibility as a strategic partner. Pick one business metric your organizational tracks and spends 30 minutes of week finding the data connection to people metric you own. Relationship architecture. The third component of strategic HR is most people overlook entirely: relationship architecture. Being strategic is not easy just about what you know. It is about who trusts you enough to tell you what is really going on. The most strategic HR professionals have informed conversations with leaders that never appear in any meeting. They hear about the acquisition before it is announced. They know which director is struggling before it comes to the performance issue. They understand the board's concern before those concerns reach the HR agenda. This level of access does not happen because you are not good at your job. It happens because you have invested in relationship with intention. You have made yourself genuinely useful, not just in HR terms but in business terms. Tell me in the comments what one thing you are going to do this week and move from transactional to strategic. Commit it to the public because it works. Subscribe if you want more of this because next week we are covering on HR metrics that make CFO actually pay attention. See you there. And thank you everyone for watching my video, and I am there to support in your HR concerns. So have a nice day.